Welcome back from our technical difficulties. We are confirming that we are back from our technical difficulties, but we're just going to assume that you missed nothing. We've our characters have healed up and processed a little of their youthful mistakes. And as soon as I get confirmation that we're good, we'll continue. All right. So Azaka, all healed up, seems ready to go. She again, it doesn't take much of an insight check to tell.
Might as well then.
All right. You continue down the silvery path. The perception check I had you roll as you're getting gathered up, fade, like sparkles for a moment and fades into the air.
What was that?
Religion check.
Chippy's going to clumsily try to say a prayer for it, although he's quite awkward about it. He doesn't really ever do this.
It's made a little easier by the fact that Obdao just reflexively under his psychic damage that you're taking doesn't seem to be
dissipating, that aren't strong enough to face the trials. Glad we have not yet met such a fate.
You carry on.
So Nanette and Gom, thanks again for the healing. If I didn't say it before, appreciate not discorporate.
Being just generally lost as you follow your silvery line unerringly toward the heart of the maze. Remember the first task or thing that you threw yourself into completely. What was your first proficiency?
That would be it would be nature. It was some of the first skill deeds brought to me as duties, but it's also the one that I took to. Okay. Here's the intelligence.
You once again in that moment have that first triumphant victory of being assigned this task to catalog just some very simple plants and
16.
And you managed to hold that passion throughout the learning of it. Right? There were several points that were hard, especially as you got into the the more advanced stuff, which you entered into early. Can I get a charisma or dexterity save? Or check, that is. Check.
Ability check.
Yeah.
So dexterity or charisma. Gotcha. Looks like that's gonna be the dexterity.
And learn some forbidden things. What were forbidden? What was forbidden for young learners in these studies?
I think that was going to access to the danger. I do have advantage on
Okay.
versus poisons and toxins.
Okay. You are, however, able to hide the horrible irritant rash that you got as a result of trying to sneak your way through into that section of plant. But you did, however, manage to take a look at what you wanted, and you also managed to get a good look at the thing that gave you the wood blisters on your organosynthetic skin.
Yep, I got too close to that plant and left a mark.
What not just cerebral then? You did not just understand it, you grokked it. You understood not just what it was, but how it was, why it was, and what it was like to be that. In a way that what was the first spell that came that you manifested as a druid? What was the first time you connected to that power? It would be a first level or a cantrip.
I was gonna say, I think that was Shillelagh.
Okay. You found just the right piece of wood and understood the perfectness of it, and do so, you reappear on the other side
Woo!
with only 4 psychic damage.
4.
Who's next in line? What was the first your first proficiency? What thing did you light up on first that was the first thing that really like caught your passion and drove you to master?
Well, ironically, because he knew he was able to always find somebody that wanted to connect with him on that subject. And then eventually, when he did reunite with his parents, it was one of the many symptoms of how he wasn't really in the same world, like in the same place, like he just didn't fit with them anymore. And so
At a card game in the Feywild, as well as an old human, and right, so the rules get picked up quickly, and you are then able to move through the game. You don't win every hand, but you understand why you lost when you lost. Right, you're still in that very first phase of like, oh, losing isn't necessarily bad. It's just and from there, uh let's see. Let me get a charisma or wisdom check. Remember that they were all bigger than you, and you realized that if you won too much, that there were going to be consequences outside the game for you. And you realized that part of this whole gambling thing was also not just on the playing cards and on the gaming table. But you managed to finesse your way through and didn't mind giving a little, so to make sure they had some fun. and I get finally, there's no sort of like ritual. Was there like uh, uh, a big player that he sought out and beat? Was there a tournament? Was there what was the what
Read a spell book. He he realized he'd been dabbling with a teaspoon, and there were gallons and oceans of, like, he realized that the card game thing, what he was looking for in there was just barely the smidgen of this beautiful, huge, amazing thing that is magic. And the card game is just so trivial.
right? And it wasn't
So
even necessarily it wasn't like a whole spell book. It was this would have been like a treatise on the nature of magic that included some spells. So go ahead and give me um history or let's see, intelligence or okay. Well, hot Dixon, life and death. Uh, and it was a pretty easy transition. As you probably end up setting your cards away for a little while, except on occasional excursions as this thing that you won at a card game uh starts to thoroughly absorb what you're doing. As it does, you reemerge into cold marble walls. Actually, no, warm and humid marble hallways with no psychic damage.
warm and humid, is that new?
It's always felt jungly.
Let's see. My first proficiency was acrobatic.
Okay. The thing you mastered first. Okay, that you first did it as more than play when you challenged yourself to do something hard and did it. What was your first move?
Uh, leaping between two buildings that were like far apart, like further than I'd ever jumped before.
Well, and this wasn't just distance. This was style.
Yes.
You didn't just make it. You proceed to use that skill. I mean, you didn't have the luxury, of course, of developing a skill for fun or having someone teach you these things. You, of course, had real stakes if you failed.